Good evening and welcome to News Hour. I am David Patrick Kamara. Coming up in this edition, President Julius Maada Bio calls on Sierra Leonean students in China to take their education seriously and be law-abiding. The Sierra Leone police arrest 34 people with 709 kilograms of substance suspected to be marijuana in the LEONE Chiefdom, Tonkolili district. And Vice President Dr. Mohamed Julde Jallow says the healthcare system in the country is among key government priorities. More on these stories are lined up in this edition of News Hour. Welcome back for our first story tonight. President Julius Maada Bio has called on Sierra Leonean students in China to take their education seriously and be law-abiding. He made this call during a meeting with the Sierra Leonean community at the country's embassy in Beijing. Mosiri has the story.
At the embassy, President Julius Maada Bio stated that he was delighted to be with the students while thanking the Chinese government for the support to the students as they pursue their education. He assured the students that though his government inherited a battered economy, he has put a team together to change the narrative. Education, he said, is key to the success of any country, the very reason he has made it a flagship in his New Direction agenda by introducing the free, quality and compulsory pre-primary, primary and secondary education.
For the students who are here, you are our most important asset.
God bless you, sir.
God bless you, sir.
As you know, we have inherited a difficult situation. You all know how to describe it. I don't want to sound like an old record. But we believe that you are not only important, but as a caring government, we want to prepare you by giving you the skills and knowledge needed to make Sierra Leone a better place. Therefore, we made education the flagship program. It is sitting on top of a heap of other priorities. In Sierra Leone, I normally say everything is a priority. But we have chosen you, education, which you are pursuing out here as the most important. This is a way to make you the future leaders. This is a way to make you competitive around the world.
He said his administration is doing everything possible to develop the country's economy by creating the conducive environment for investment and also ensuring a robust domestic revenue mobilization.
And this is how we want to do business. Hit the ground running and making sure that we deliver for the interest of our people. You are our future. If we want to have a better Sierra Leone, we have to prepare you. And preparing you means we have to give you the wherewithal to be competitive around the world. So thank you and take your studies very seriously. The stipend. Minister of Finance. We will address in a proper way.
Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Dr. Ali Kaba, thanked the Sierra Leonean community for representing the country in China. He called on the students to study hard as the new direction needs their expertise for the development of the country.
On the promise that His Excellency made to our country through the manifesto that we are going to transform our ministry, modernize it, and make sure that we become a professional ministry full of ambassadors who have the energy to deliver on the core priorities of government. So thank you, Mr. President, for the choice. And I want to just briefly say that this embassy is your embassy, and that we will continue to support the ambassador and the staff here to make sure that we strengthen and deepen the bilateral relations between the People's Republic of China and the Republic of Sierra Leone.
First Lady Fatima Bio commended the President of China for inviting her husband for the state visit and also for the FOCAC meeting. As Sierra Leone and China has a very good relationship spanning for over 40 years. Head of Chancellery at the Sierra Leone Embassy in Beijing, Eunice Kamara, commended President Bio and delegation for the meeting with the Sierra Leonean community. Students' Union President Abubakar Tanu congratulated President Bio on his election as President of Sierra Leone and the positive moves taken so far by his administration to develop the country. SLBC TV News are in Freetown. Hawamosiri reporting.
The Sierra Leone police have arrested 34 people with 709 kilograms of substance suspected to be marijuana at the Masengbe and Matimbo villages in Leone Chiefdom, Tonkolili district. According to the Sierra Leone police, the arrests were made after a joint raid headed by the Transitional Organized Crime of the Sierra Leone police, together with other security forces under Operation Green Storm. Doreen Barry has the story.
In an effort to discourage the rampant cultivation of cannabis in the various farms in the country, Operation Green Storm was designed by the Office of the National Security together with the Sierra Leone police to prevent people from planting it. However, a recent raid conducted at Masengbe and Matimbo villages in the Tonkolili district saw the arrest of 34 people for being in possession of 709 kilos of substance suspected to be marijuana and for riotous conduct. According to the police, the raid was headed by the Transitional Organized Crime Unit together with other forces. The joint team was divided into two and every household was thoroughly searched. However, the local unit commander on SLBC sister program, Morning Coffee, said that he had no tip-off about the raid that was conducted in his region. According to the deputy head of the Transitional Organized Crime Unit, Chief Superintendent of Police Emmanuel Cole, a team of police personnel together with other sister forces over the weekend conducted a raid within the Masengbe and Matimbo villages around the early hours of Saturday morning. He said that during the raids, some youth put up stiff resistance by pelting stones, self-made petrol bombs and slings on the police. He said that at the initial stage of the raid, it was calm and quiet until they heard a gunshot from the side of the youth within the district. He said that amid the distraction from the youth, they were able to seize a huge substance suspected to be marijuana, which most of the youth use as a barter system in exchange for motorbikes in neighboring countries. He said that 8 motorbikes suspected to be transporting cannabis to neighboring countries were also arrested.
As lengthy as the village was, we had some problem. As we were moving along from where we started making the seizures and arrests, those at the other end, they got wind of what was happening. So by the time members of the team proceeded to that end, they met a very stiff resistance.
On the alleged death of one of the youth during the raid, Mr. Cole said that it came as a surprise to them, as it was when they arrived in Freetown that they learned about his death. The Director of Policy, Planning and Strategy, Office of the National Security, Francis Langba KEILI, told journalists that the Operation Green Storm was designed to prevent people from cultivating cannabis. He said that for the past 15 years, similar raids had been conducted in other parts of the country.
On the 27th of August, to be precise, the Central Intelligence and Security Unit, which is our intelligence outfit in this country, developed a paper, a brief for His Excellency titled Cannabis Cultivation, a continued threat to our attainment of our food security drive as a country. So it was emanated out of an assessment, and that assessment was presented to His Excellency at that meeting on the 27th of August. I have it here, you can see.
He spoke about the negative effects of cultivation of cannabis, which pose threats to the country's security and also a bad influence on young people taking drugs. He disclosed that the raid was well planned and was not done on directives from State House, but by the Sierra Leone police and sister forces. He said that the cultivation of cannabis is supported by some politicians, business people, and youth within the various areas.
The National Civil Registration Authority has updated the media on the ongoing verification of civil and public servants on government payroll. The Director General Civil Registration Authority, MOHAMED MASSAQUOI, said the process hopes to clean the government's payroll and reduce wastages. The press briefing was held at the National Civil Registration Authority conference room at Walpole Street. Joseph Toure filing this report.
MASSAQUOI, the process would minimize wastage of government resources and invariably improve service delivery to the people of the country. He stated that the process is manned by capable staff of National Civil Registration Authority in all districts in the country. The director noted that the system is well protected and equipped for the process. He noted that they have created a situation room to maintain round-the-clock contact with all centers across the country to collate incident reports, analyze them, and craft adequate responses where necessary. Mr. MASSAQUOI added that their teams have been capacitated for swift and robust response to any challenge.
As at this morning, 98% of verification, update, and registration centers across the country were open and accessible to the targeted group. The NCRA wishes to assure the Ministry of Finance, the Human Resources Management Office, and the government and people of Sierra Leone, including our esteemed development partners, of a transparent and credible biometric verification, update, and registration exercise.
The director urged all civil servants to comply with the process, as failing to comply will lead to disciplinary action by the appropriate authority.
Vice President Dr. Mohamed Jallow has said the healthcare system in the country will continue to be among key government priorities. He was speaking at the commissioning of the Haja Fatou Memorial Community Healthcare Kontha-Wala Lokomasama Chiefdom in the Port Loko district. Thomas Neal has the story.
It seems Sierra Leoneans living abroad are responding to the adage that don't ask what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. The building of this community health center in a riverine area by an indigene, Madam Aminata Sankoila, is a great testimony to that. The Vice President and team braved the storm to commission such a magnificent building that will address some of the challenges confronting the health sector. Vice President Dr. Mohamed Jallow praised Madam Aminata Sankoila and her husband for their initiative to build a community health center in their place of origin, which he noted is an example of patriotism. He said government will ensure that the health center has the necessary facilities so that the indigenes living within the facility will benefit from it, and call on the community to take full advantage of the center. Vice President Dr. Jallow called on other Sierra Leoneans living in the diaspora to emulate such a fine example. The Deputy Minister of Health and Sanitation, Dr. Agostin Sadi, said the construction of the health center is part of an effort to complement government's effort in the health sector. He promised the people of Kontha-Wala that the facility will be up and running as the ministry has mobilized all essential packages, including drugs and personnel. The Chief Executive Officer, Haja Fatou Memorial Health Center, Aminata Sankoila, said the project was a dream during her childhood days in the village, adding that it is also part of their own contribution to nation building. She said during her days, the community lacked basic health facilities and development in that part of the country was difficult to come by, and thanked the people of Kontha-Wala for their contribution towards the construction of the building. The Port Loko District Council Chairman Ibrahim Bangua said the council is proud of the intervention of Madam Sankoila as the health sector remains a great challenge in the council. The Minister of Internal Affairs Edward Suluku and other senior government officials accompanying the Vice President. For News Hour in Freetown, Thomas Neal reporting.
Stakeholders of blind education have called on the attention of the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education to special needs materials for blind and visually impaired schools. Materials such as blind frames and styles, they say, are essential for educating the blind, and if not available in special needs schools, makes it almost impossible for learning for blind and visually impaired students. Soriba Samura reports.
Some schools for the blind in the country have always called for materials for students in those institutions. Some for braillers and styles, while others frames and recorders, all geared towards enhancing learning for disabled persons in special needs schools. Ahead of the reopening of schools on the 17th of September, teachers and students of some schools for the blind in the Western area say the Ministry of Basic and Senior Education should consider them in providing special needs materials such as braillers and frames. Sina Cordelia Kamara, a second-year social work student at the Education Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired, talked about constraints she is going through in trying to access quality education. She is also concerned about the non-availability of digital recorders which they use to take notes, unlike their able-bodied counterparts who can just scribble on a piece of paper. Usman Bangura is also in the special needs class in the same institution. In his case, the main issue in his class has to do with the outdated typewriters in the absence of braillers. Thomas Aliu, one of the stakeholders of blindness education in the country, thinks free quality education for all without provision for special needs materials to blind and visually impaired schools is cause for concern. He, however, called on the desk for special needs at the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education to monitor the materials given to special needs schools around the country, because some of these schools did not handle well equipment supplied them in the past.
It is of vital importance for every government to bring on board, when planning, the interests of every citizen, irrespective of disabilities.
This is the same with the Milton Magai School for the Blind. The head teacher of the school, Saliu Toure, told SLBC that their problem is, but not limited to, the lack of braillers. He also highlighted the need for parents of blind children to bring them to be educated at the Milton Magai School for the Blind.
This is very difficult as I speak, as I always say, that for the second pupils, because we learn typing at primary level, we start learning typing at primary level. When we go to secondary school, we will use the typewriter to write for our teachers to be able to read. And if we don't have typewriters in the various schools, then it's difficult for us to learn it.
For him, it is but disturbing that there are kids in some communities in the Western area who have not been to school. The Deputy Director and Vice Principal of the Education Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired, Grafton, Daniel Pakima, was in the position to say that they are making do with the available materials until there could be more. Soriba Samura, SLBC, Freetown.
The Ministry of Health and Sanitation, through the Western Area District Health Management Team, has ended a day's advocacy forum on prevention and treatment of malaria in infants. The sensitization meeting, which took place at the Principal Medical Office Complex at Kleintown, targeted market women, community chiefs, councillors, religious and traditional leaders, among others. Esther Mary Samura reports.
With district stakeholders and local authorities on the implementation of intermittent preventive treatment in infants was very interactive. According to the monitoring and evaluation officer, District Health Medical Team Philip Briwa, the sensitization meeting was specifically organized to engage stakeholders on their roles and responsibilities in preventing malaria at district and chiefdom levels on intermittent treatment in infants, and to develop action plans for successful implementation of the IPTI. Dr. Mohamed Vandi, District Medical Officer, Western Area Urban, gave detailed explanations on what prompted the one-day National Malaria Control Meeting.
No, malaria is a leading killer disease in this country, and we have done a lot of interventions to prevent it. Nevertheless, the incidence of malaria is not reducing the way we intend it to reduce. So therefore, we are looking at various ways and means, different interventions to make sure we reduce the incidence of malaria, particularly among children. Children and pregnant women are more vulnerable to malaria. That's the reason.
One of the stakeholders, Abdul Bangura, who also doubles as country director for traditional medicines in the Traditional Healers Association, said they hope to conduct communities engagement in disseminating the prevention and treatment of malaria in the Western area.
This has really motivated me more to continue talking to our people, especially in community-based area, whereby you have a lot of antenatal care that the women with pregnancy and from 0 to 5 years who may want to embark more on intensive referral so that they can go to hospital so that we can get a reduce in the death of disease like malaria being affected to 0 to under 5 and children and also pregnant women.
Action plans, recommendations and commitment from the local authorities and community members formed part of the forum. Esther Mahisamua reporting for SLBC TV.
You're watching News Hour on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation with me, David Patrick Kamara. Well, for an update on the under-17 football side as well as Leone Stars, let's now join Esther Mahisamua for the latest in sports.
It's a hearty welcome to a sports update live on SLBC TV, and in this edition, Hawassa Ethiopia defeated Sierra Leone 1-0 in Group F qualifier of the 2019 African Cup of Nations, which will be held in Cameroon. St. George striker Jitane Kebede scored the lone goal of the match in the 35 minutes into the first half from a penalty spot that was caused by Yemi Dunia through a tackle in Leone Stars' 18-yard arc. Meanwhile, another group played on Saturday. Ghana fell to a shock 1-0 defeat away to 10-man Kenya. This result has relegated Sierra Leone to third place in Group F, as Leone Stars will play in their next match on the 8th of October 2018 in Ghana. And away from that, all 18 under-17 players cleared after they passed the magnetic resonance imaging test. The test, which was conducted at the Imaging Modern de Senegal Hospital in Senegal, and confirmed of the right age to participate in the tournament. Sierra Leone is in Group A with Senegal and Guinea-Bissau, as the boys are expected to take on Guinea-Bissau on Tuesday in Senegal. That's all for sport tonight. I am Esther Mahisamua. Thanks for watching.
Many thanks indeed, Esther Mahisamua, for the latest in sports. Well, now from sports we move over to the entertainment news. Entertainment in Sierra Leone is not only based in Freetown but across the country. Our entertainment producer Mohamed Kimilan Bangura is on a tour to provincial areas searching for talents in that part of the country. He visited MAKENI city over the weekend and compiled this report.
As I've decided to tour the country's provincial towns searching for talent in the entertainment industry. I've been to Bo in the southern part of the country, Watlow and Newton in the western rural district. Now my next move is the northern part of the country, the largest city in the northern province. It is full of educated people and undoubtedly full of talented people, and also considered the economic center of the northern province, the third city of Sierra Leone, MAKENI city. I entered a lively city with people yelling busily around as they went about their normal business. My first point of call was to approach the locals on how they consider their homegrown talent in MAKENI. One thing I would say that people appreciate our songs here. Like when there are some activities, most of the songs here from MAKENI are played. That's a sign to show that people appreciate our songs. The entertainment industry in MAKENI is not bad because I'm seeing some underground artists moving from lower level to higher level. We should love our songs. I love Youth Man Them, done by Steady Bongo. People love music from MAKENI. To me, I'll call FSK the moving trade. The guy who did the song, I'm tired with those who don't want to see me shine. I just want to tell Sierra Leonean artists to stop the beefing. When that is stopped, we'll definitely see Sierra Leonean music grow. Actually, Sierra Leonean music is doing well. The artists are really trying to promote our Sierra Leonean music, and for that reason, I appreciate them. Nice to know that the populace accept and respect their talent in MAKENI. I met with some elites who are stakeholders in the entertainment industry there, as they gave me positive comments on the growth of the industry.
The talent is there. I mean, we've got potentials. It's just a question of tapping on those existing talents and see what could be done to make them competitive with others within and without Sierra Leone.
They're great, they are doing well, and definitely I want to say kudos to the president of the MAKENI Artists Union presently. People appreciate music 100%, especially saloon music. Okay. People are request for saloon music more than foreign music. Okay. And as for me, I'm proud of promoting saloon music.
Yeah, they have good artists in MAKENI here, and I would say they are very accommodative because I've worked with most of them. I've done some collaboration with some of the rappers in MAKENI here.
The MAKENI Artists Union just concluded their general elections, and singer and rapper Milton Franklin Koroma, whose stage name is Stuntman, was elected as president for 2 terms. He said he met a lot of issues surrounding the underdevelopment of the Artists Union and has decided to give it a facelift.
I'm a very proactive president, and for the very first time again in MAKENI music history, MAKENI Artists Union is on the road touring. It's because of the very cordial relationship which I as a president and of course MAKENI Artists Union in general, is because of the cordial relationship which we have already established with other unions. That's why MAKENI Artists Union is the hottest union now in Sierra Leone, which every other union is trying to align themselves with.
Many thanks to Mohamed King Milan Bangura for that entertainment report. Well, that's our last story for tonight. To end the news, the main points again. President Julius Maada Bio has called on Sierra Leonean students in China to take their education seriously and be law-abiding. Sierra Leone police have arrested 34 people with 709 kilograms of substance suspected to be marijuana in Yoni Chiefdom, Tonkolili district. And Vice President has said that the healthcare system in the country is among the government's priorities. But that's all in this edition of Newsra. Thanks for your company. I am David Patrick Kamara. Good night.